Welcome back. Let's talk and take a minute to pause, because maybe not everybody wants to do a full flipped classroom. Maybe for some, access is still an issue that you're not sure you can kind of overcome. Maybe flip isn't something you want to take on because it's an idea that's new to you, and it's something you're not quite sure is for you. That's all fine. You don't have to create a finished product right from the get-go. As teachers, we handicap ourselves on a regular basis by waiting for perfect to get started. Understand that flipped learning is a process for students, but it's also a process for teachers. You're not going to flip right out of the gate in the way that maybe you think you are, or maybe the way you think you want to. You're not going to get to the end product right out of the gate. The other side of the coin is some people think flipping isn't for you because, well, man, it's so much work. That's not for me. Well, I'm here to tell you, yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but it's not work in the places that you might think. The biggest hurdle that some folks find with flipping, I chuckle at just a little bit, is making the video, because they say, I don't want to see me on screen. First of all, you don't have to see you on screen. It is possible to flip a classroom using other folks' videos. I don't really enjoy it as much because if you're building the relationship with your students, then it ought to be your face that they see, and that helps the relationship build. But if you say, I don't want my face on screen, that's fine. For $70, you get a little document camera, and you watch, and you can use your hand. In fact, in my classroom, most of my instructional videos are two components. That component is my face using a webcam, and the bulk of the screen is the piece of paper on which I'm writing the math problem, much in the old overhead fashion, just using a document camera. I include my face because I do talk with my hands, but also the students can see. I did a test with one of my colleagues when I first started this, and I said, should I put my face on here or not? He said, absolutely. It makes me feel like you're looking at me. I know it's not you in real life, but it makes me feel more accountable to watch. Like, then in my face it is. And this is not exactly what you want to spend hours looking at. But nonetheless, it's helpful for students, so I do it. That's the key. All the writing that I do, I take a picture with that document camera, and those are the supplementals that I put inside those dibs that I put online. In all those cases, that is a challenge that you just have to get over. And if you want to do it with direct instruction videos, you don't have to do direct instruction videos if you don't want to, but don't pause on it just because you don't have fancy equipment, okay? Everybody in their pocket probably has one of these, and the phone and the camera on this is amazing. You can take nice pictures on this, or you can take educational videos. It's as easy as pie. You just record it and you can go right from your phone and upload it to your own personal YouTube channel. And it takes no longer to do those items than it does to film the piece. In most of my videos when I make them, it's adding 2 minutes to the running time of the video just for the starting, the stopping, the uploading, and posting. I'm done. So it doesn't take much more time. The other thing is they don't have to be fancy videos with things that fly in or graphics that appear on screen. It could just be this, because if you did it in person, guess what? This is what they get. If you wanted to do it in front of a whiteboard, it's not awesome because it's hard to see the whiteboard sometime. But if that's what you go with, that's what you go with, and you give them the notes down at the bottom and they look at those. There's a variety of things you could do to gather a video library of skills. Most of these videos that I'm doing here are actually a little longer than I would do for my classroom videos, because we're adults and we have a little bit longer attention span. But we make sure that the videos are very short, 5, 8 minutes, and they're skill specific. So they're not large pieces. You don't write a script. It probably shows, but I haven't had a script for any of this. I'm just talking to you as if you were standing right in front of me. So it's not challenging to do from that perspective. Technologically, it's not overly challenging. But even if those things are still too much for you, I highly recommend taking the documents in the classroom that you already have and digitizing some or most of it, because our textbooks are things that don't get replaced near as often as they need to. Our textbooks are things that wear out. Our learning, however, and some of these original documents are so scattered, and we have handouts and all these pieces, that there's no reason that we shouldn't be, as teachers, putting them into a framework that is accessible and is organized. So even if your accessible and organized does not include online instruction like we're doing here, you can put all of your materials at least in one place for a student using Google Docs or Microsoft 365 or whatever it happens to be. You can put them all on those pages, either as documents that are separate that go in a folder, or documents that can be downloaded digitally so that students can access them 24/7. That's why when I look at the flipped classroom, I look at DIBs, those digital instruction blocks, as the components. Because DIBs can be used inside a flipped classroom very effectively, and that's where I kind of came up with that terminology and that idea for me. That's how I think about it. But they don't have to be. Take just a unit or a project that you've always done and digitize the instructions, or digitize or take a picture or a video of a group that does it this year so that you can show it to the class next year. Take the components that they may need, the historical documents, or the selection from the reading that you're going to have them go over. Put that in a digital document, put it together, and then put it in some sort of folder or order. Learning management systems are great, but they aren't necessary. All of these things can be done for the benefit of students to increase access, increase organization. And these are things that we may already do. In fact, that's the easiest place to start building your DIBS library. It's your easiest way to start building toward a flipped classroom, is take the things you already do, digitize what you can so that students can get it on their phones, because that's where a lot of their learning takes place, or on their Chromebooks, laptops, or school Chromebooks, laptops, computers, home computers, iPads, tablets, Kindle Fires, whatever you want. They live in a digital generation. As teachers, we also need to understand that that's where they live, is in a digital generation. So build your DIBS library, put them together, and before long what you'll find is it's a lot easier to give it to them digitally, because they can access it all the time. They can email you when they have questions. They can get immediate feedback. There's less frustration, there's less questions, and there's more opportunity for learning. The other thing, that when you start digitizing at least a few things, you will find that there are things more and more that you can keep taking out of this box that is the classroom. And the more you take out of the box that is the classroom, the more great things you can put in to the classroom. If things don't have to be done here, they can be done somewhere else, do them somewhere else. Make those things that go in your classroom the things that absolutely are the best use of class time. That's what the Illinois Flipped and Blended Learning Network is about. That's what the Flipped Learning Network is about. That's what good education is about, making sure that what's in our classroom is the best for students. If you want more information on any of the things I've mentioned, the Flipped Learning Global Initiative, I've mentioned Flipped Learning Network, I have mentioned a number of technology providers. Look up DIBS online. Hopefully we'll be up online before long. If nothing else, come see us at the Illinois Flipped and Blended Learning Network online, or come to our conference in Chicago. All of these things are available to you. Get out there, get on the Twitter chats, get out there and get learning how your classroom can be transformed with a few simple techniques. that are not that hard to learn, but are things that your students will very much appreciate. Thank you for joining us. I am Matthew Moore from the Illinois Flipped and Blended Learning Network.